My name is Sally, and I'm a 50-year-old housewife. Both of my children are now adults and have moved out to live on their own. Since they've become independent, I've started working from home in addition to my housewife duties. My husband supports my decision to work from home. At first, I only made about $200 a month, but over time, my income grew to $600 and then $800. I'm thankful for the clients who give me work. My sister-in-law, who is my husband's twin sister, lives nearby. We are the same age, and I have always had a complicated relationship with her. Although we became somewhat close, I have always disliked her, and even talking to her can be annoying. My husband feels the same way about her. My sister-in-law is arrogant and likes to look down on others. She often shows off, which can be quite irritating. She has a son named Tommy, my nephew, who is 24 years old. Tommy has been very sick since he was a child and can hardly move, so he has always stayed in bed. One day, my sister-in-law sent me a mean text. She said she was going to Hawaii for a week, staying in a fancy hotel, and bragged about wearing a swimsuit on the beach. She mocked my appearance and suggested that I'm unattractive because I have 2 kids. She called me a fat old woman and said that she looks great for her age. While I do have a matronly figure and my body has changed after having children, I think my sister-in-law isn't as perfect as she believes. I wondered what she would do with Tommy while she was away. I knew she wouldn't arrange proper care for him. She just left him at home with drinks and snacks by his bed. I thought it was terrible how she treated him, saying I don't have to listen to her since she has no idea what hardship is like. I've had a tough time because of Tommy's condition. I even thought I shouldn't have had him. Then, I told her I would take care of Tommy and left to get him. It's only a 5-minute drive to her house, and I took my station wagon because it has space for a wheelchair. I took Tommy in because I felt sorry for him. He was just lying around at home, and I thought it was sad. My sister-in-law made a rude comment, saying I was a housewife who did nothing, and that I was perfect for taking care of Tommy. She said my remote work wasn't a real job and that both she and her husband had full-time jobs. She thought I deserved to spend my life taking care of Tommy. I replied, "Is that so? Let's go, Tommy." Tommy looked sad, and I understood why. His mother treated him poorly. Taking care of a sick child is hard, but it was cruel of her to say those things in front of him. Even if he's an adult, it hurts to hear that kind of talk. Eventually, I brought Tommy to my house. When my husband David came home, he was surprised to see Tommy. "Why is he here?" he asked. I explained that my sister was going on vacation and planned to leave Tommy behind, so I brought him home without asking David first. David was understanding. "Your sister must have lost her mind. Leaving him behind is just awful. Tommy, you're welcome to stay here. We'll take good care of you." Tommy smiled and thanked us. Despite my dislike for my sister-in-law and her husband, I've always liked Tommy. He is kind, empathetic, and very smart. Even though he hasn't been able to go to a special education school, I've always thought of him as a smart kid. After that, I found out that my sister-in-law and her husband really did go to Hawaii, leaving their bedridden son behind. I was shocked. What would they do if something happened to Tommy while they were gone? They wouldn't be able to come back right away. My husband was just as surprised as I was. They must be out of their minds for going to Hawaii and leaving Tommy behind, he said, and I agreed. I know I might not have the right to say this since I've never taken care of Tommy, but it's shocking that my sister-in-law would leave him without any proper care. If I hadn't gotten that message, Tommy would have been left alone without anyone even realizing it, and that gives me chills. It really is terrible. I've never cared for a seriously ill child, and my in-laws are healthy. They've always said that if they couldn't take care of themselves, they would go to a nursing home, so I've never been a caregiver. That's why I didn't feel I could criticize my sister-in-law, but I still can't understand how she could just leave her son behind with only a drink. Tommy has a serious illness, and he qualifies for welfare support. There are also short-term care facilities available if they needed to travel. When my sister-in-law and her family returned from Hawaii, they came to our house just to insult us. "Here's a souvenir for you," she said, holding out seashells. "We picked these up at the beach and have plenty, so we're giving some to you." I didn't want them and told her so. "You're rejecting my kindness?" she said. "What about this driftwood?" I declined again. "By the way, is Tommy doing okay?" she asked, adding, "Not that I care about that useless child." I was shocked. "How can you say that about your own son?" I asked. She replied, "What do you know? It's the worst to have given birth to him only to find out he has a serious illness. I want the money I spent raising him back." I told her she could only say that because she didn't understand my feelings. She snapped back, You don't know what it's like to live with a useless son." Then she asked if we were serious about adopting Tommy. I said, "Who in their right mind would adopt a child like that?" But I was serious. I closed the door, and they left. After that, my husband and I decided to adopt Tommy as our own. It was a big change for him since he had been shocked by being abandoned by his parents. But gradually, he began to smile in our home. He is bedridden but can use his hands, so he enjoys using tablets and smartphones while lying down. One day, Tommy seemed really happy. "Look, my work is going to be published in a literary magazine," he said. I asked him what kind of magazine it was, and he explained that he had been writing novels as a hobby because it was the only thing he could do while bedridden. "It's a little embarrassing," he added. I told him there was nothing to be embarrassed about. It was a great hobby. "Can I see it?" I asked. He showed me the first story he wrote, and I started reading it. It was very well written and really touched me. "This is amazing. I can't believe how good it is," I told him. I struggled to put my feelings into words, so I started writing on my tablet, and surprisingly, people liked it. I then wrote a medium-length story, and that one got published in a magazine too. "I didn't know you had such talent," I told Tommy. I showed his work to my husband, who loves reading, and he was really impressed. "This is amazing. It feels like pure literature," he said. Tommy explained that he admired authors like Fitzgerald, Hemingway, and Dostoevsky. "That's why my stories have a somewhat melancholic feeling," he added. "The authors he mentioned do write sorrowful or tragic works." Tommy's novel was published in hardcover under the pseudonym Scott Weill. He chose Scott from F. Scott Fitzgerald and Weill from Hermann Hesse's book, Beneath the Wheel. Soon, Scott Weill's book became a huge success, selling out quickly at bookstores. There was even a special section for his books at our local store, which made me really happy. Then Tommy won the Pulitzer Prize, and we were all shocked. "I won the Pulitzer Prize? That's amazing. You really worked hard for this," I said. Tommy smiled, saying, "Even someone bedridden like me can become a recognized writer. No one should ever give up on their dreams." A press conference was arranged, but we didn't go with him. Tommy needed to be seated in a special wheelchair to keep him safe. I wheeled him into the venue, and I could see he was tense and nervous. When the press conference started, Tommy was in front of a lot of cameras, and the event was broadcast live on TV. "Hello, I'm Scott Weill, a bedridden author. Since childhood, I've suffered from a serious illness and have spent most of my time in bed. However, reading books was my escape, and I decided I wanted to be an author too and inspire others. I'm grateful to everyone who has read my books and to my step-parents who adopted me." After Tommy's speech, journalists started asking questions, some of which were quite insensitive. They asked him why he was adopted. Tommy responded, "My real mother was very troubled because of my illness. She probably grew to dislike me. I can't blame her for it." Then, voices rose from the crowd, saying, "What a terrible parent. That's really low." However, Tommy didn't want anyone to feel sorry for him. He said, "Everyone has their own circumstances, so please don't judge them." After everything ended, my husband and I helped Tommy into our modified car, which made it easy for his wheelchair to get in. When we got home, my sister-in-law and her husband were waiting for us. "Tommy, you won the Pulitzer Prize. I'm so happy. Come live with us again," she suddenly said. Her attitude had changed completely. She probably thought Tommy would make a lot of money now. Tommy replied, "No, I'm going to keep living here. I'm not going back to that house." "But I'm your real mother," she insisted. Tommy responded, "My only parents are Sally and David." "Then give us the prize money," she demanded. "No, this money is for my mom and dad, not you. It's for Sally." "What? I'm the one who raised you all these years. Give it to me." "Not a chance," Tommy shot back. Despite her being financially stable, my sister-in-law was always looking for ways to make money quickly. She was determined to get the $15,000 from the Pulitzer Prize, but Tommy wouldn't budge. "I don't think of you as my parents anymore. Even when I was young, you insulted me. I didn't speak badly about you at the press conference, but you often said you wished you hadn't given birth to me and that you wanted to abandon me because I was worthless. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? I'm the one who's at a loss for having given birth to someone like you. You should be the one apologizing. I did nothing wrong. How dare you forget the favor of raising you?" my sister-in-law yelled. Her husband also demanded the money, and I couldn't believe how greedy they were. It was really shameful and vulgar. They bragged about being full-time employees and said they weren't short on money, but they looked foolish. So, I decided to fight back. You love money so much. You're selling all kinds of things on those online marketplaces, aren't you? You're so desperate to make a profit. Look, you're selling a bunch of seashells. And it seems like you're selling coral too. Do you think that's okay? What? Everyone buys seashells to decorate their homes, she argued. No, that's not right. Taking a few seashells as souvenirs from a beach in Hawaii is fine, but you shouldn't take coral, even if you say it's okay. Both seashells and coral are important to the beach ecosystem, even if the coral is dead. It's not right to take it home. It's even written on Hawaii's official website. If you check the fishing regulations, you'll see it's not allowed, and you could even get fined if it's deemed malicious. What? No way, she exclaimed, shocked. I absolutely refuse, my sister-in-law shouted. Well, since you're selling those things online, it's definitely wrong, so I'm going to report you. We're going inside the house now, bye. No, don't. I'll report you, and you'll definitely get caught. With that, we quickly went into our house. Right away, we contacted the police. Anyone might pick up a few seashells from the beach, but I saw that my sister-in-law was selling a huge amount of seashells and coral online, which made me think she was a poacher or something. She probably thought it was okay to take coral as long as it wasn't alive, but ignorance can be dangerous. I also reported her on the online marketplace. I had just realized the situation yesterday, so I thought it was perfect payback. After that, my sister-in-law got in trouble with the police and ended up paying fines. I hope she understands how serious her actions were and reflects on them. Since then, she has stopped coming to our house. I wonder if she's scared I might do something else. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't do anything to her unless she provoked me. I'm just glad she's keeping her distance. I hope it stays this way forever. Meanwhile, I'm taking care of Tommy while working from home, and I'm getting help from a caregiver so I don't have to do everything myself. It's tough to care for him since he's bedridden, but I'm happy to be with him. I want Tommy to keep writing novels without worrying about anything. I hope his books become even more famous around the world. Our kids have also become big fans of Tommy's novels. They'll be coming back home soon, and I hope we can all spend quality time together as a family.